The Boys of Original Plumbing, Past, Present, and Future is a photography exhibit by photographer Amos Mac. All of the subjects in the exhibit are female to male transgender identified. Raymond Donald Hong was at the San Francisco LGBT Center for the opening of the exhibit that runs through May 13th and talks with Amos Mac later in the program.
The past 10 years brought more visibility to the male-to-female transgender community, unlike previous decades. But what flew under most people's radar were female-to-male transgender people, until Chaz Bono, the only child of Sonny and Cher, announced his decision to transition to being a man.
I wish him the best, and I feel like it's probably very intense for him to go through such a personal time in front of the limelight like that, and it would be hard if I had to experience my transition so early on, the entire experience, in front of the world that way.
Amos Mac is a photographer and the editor-in-chief and publisher of a new magazine documenting diversity of transgender men through essays, personal narratives, and interviews.
Original Plumbing is a magazine started about a year ago, and started out of my photo projects, just documenting trans men who are my friends and wanting to do little interviews with them and publish a little zine. And then I started getting more and more excited about this idea because I realized there was no other trans male magazine that had ever really existed outside of F2MI International newsletter from back in the day. I thought that it was important to have photos, interviews, and the trans men giving their own stories with their pictorials coming from a trans man editor. I teamed up with Rocco Kayadis, who is the other editor of the magazine, and together we made my little zine idea into a real quarterly magazine, and now it's just become a really amazing experience and cultural piece that I'm so proud of.
The success of Original Plumbing magazine spawned a photography exhibit, The Boys of Original Plumbing, Past, Present, and Future, now at the San Francisco LGBT Community Center, running through May 13.
All of the men in this exhibit are either in the Original Plumbing magazine currently. What ties them all together is that they're all trans men or identify on the trans masculine spectrum of identity. So whether or not they take hormones or have had any kind of surgery, what brings them all together is that they all identify as male. I've always been interested in photography. I always ran around with a camera when I was younger and had like a big obsession with documentation of everything that was going on, as well as past photographs from my mother when she was younger. She used to always document a lot of things as well. So I grew up in a house with a lot of photographs, so it was always really important to me. Started shooting when I was a young teenager, and from then just never really cared what kind of camera I had, but just continued to shoot everything in my life.
Taken in the past year, the 30 photos in the exhibit show the diversity of the FTM community in size, age, body, as well as hormone use and non-use. Because of the adverse side effects of the medication, some patients are prevented from taking hormone replacement therapy. However, they still consider themselves male.
There's a broad range of guys who have been on hormones, who haven't, who have been on it and have stopped, who have had surgeries, who have had 0 surgeries. You don't have to take hormones or get any sort of surgery to identify as a trans man. Being trans is an experience of not identifying in the gender that you were born in or the gender that was written on your birth certificate, at birth. A lot of trans men decide to go on hormones or get surgeries, but it's not a necessary thing. It doesn't make the trans male experience any less relevant if they decide not to get a surgery or go on hormones.
Most of the pictures were taken of men in major American cities. But with readership of Original Plumbing magazine picking up across the pond, trans men in Europe are coming forth with their stories.
In Berlin specifically, and in Paris, there is a trans masculine community of some sort. I mean, they were really excited for Original Plumbing and excited to see the photographs. When I was in Berlin, I met a boy named Finn, and he really wanted to model, and I didn't know my way around that city or anything, and it was my first time in Europe. And we just kind of were walking around looking for a place to shoot. It was pitch black, and I only had my camera and the flash, and we just found a bombed out old building. It was graffitied all over. I couldn't see a thing, and I was just kind of pointing with the camera and shooting in his general direction and hoping that I got something. And so I didn't actually look at I couldn't actually see what I was shooting, but I ended up getting some great pictures. There's a boy from London over there, Adrian. He's in the BOA. He's a drag queen, so he's a performer. I met him online and ended up just, since I was passing through England, I took the train to his apartment one morning and did a shoot with him.
And in the not-too-distant future, you'll find Amos looking for models in the Midwest.
I'm looking to travel across the country more to promote the magazine as well as throw release parties, and would love to shoot people in other areas, especially Middle America. I want some cowboys.
The Boys of Original Plumbing, Past, Present, and Future exhibit continues through May 13th, Monday through Saturday on the 3rd floor of the San Francisco LGBT Community Center at 1800 Market Street. For more information, visit amosmac.com and sfcenter.org. In San Francisco, this is Raymond Donald Hong for Outlook Video. We'd love to get mail from you. Send it to Outlook Video at P.O. Box 390996, Mountain View, California, 94039-0996.
To contact us by telephone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Or you can send email to comments@outlookvideo.org.
To learn more about Outlook Video and to get a list of our air dates and times, point your web browsers to outlookvideo.org.